Welcome back, everybody, for the second time this week. And also, amidst a bunch of technical difficulties and trying to make this thing happen,
Every now and
um,
then it happens.
we're here. We're back. Gosh, second time this week. I mean,
Yeah,
we do it. I mean, it is
we're
what it
locking in.
is. With that said, we're here. Of course, I am Meelz. I'm here with the Platinum Chanel boy himself.
Yes, I am
And I'm
here.
currently taking the keys out of my pocket because I feel like it's going to make noise. Um, we're here today to talk about something very, very popular, very, very, I don't want to say groundbreaking, maybe Crunchyroll
it's
crashing.
it's way more popular than I had anticipated. Being like just on the outside looking in before I got into it, but it really is like anime Game of Thrones. Like I don't know if you ever like finished Game of Thrones or like went through it, but man, it is
Started? No, no, I have
like
not.
it's a lot to handle. Like it's a lot to deal with, but it does remind me of Game of Thrones a lot.
Do you think people out? All right, so obviously we're here. If you've seen the title of the episode, you know what we're talking about. We're talking on Attack on Titan, Attack on Titans, Attack on Titans. There we go,
Yeah,
Attack on
yeah.
Titans. Listen, do you think people who aren't into anime would fuck with this heavy?
Yeah, I feel like I already see a bunch of people who aren't like crazy
Attack on
anime
Titan.
heavy talking about Attack on Titan. Like uh it's definitely been like it's one of those series where it's so deep and depend on the type of things that you like. If you're looking for like pure story and the dialogue and also the action and the violence is there, but it's a lot of dialogue and it's a lot to keep up with. So I think it is one of those
Hmm.
animes that's perfect. It's not goofy. I know that some animes are so goofy that people who aren't in animes can't watch it because it's just so they can't lapse in on it. But this
Right.
is like it's not goofy at all. It's very serious. Um, Very rare, silly like fun moments, laugh moments, but even those moments don't last very long. So yeah, it's great, honestly.
We're here. We're here to talk Attack on Titans. It came out. I keep saying Titans. Attack on Titan. I feel so old saying it with an S now.
Yeah,
We're here to talk Attack on Titan. Debut 2013, final season here 2020. It's been a long journey for the show and people who like
yeah,
the show at least.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
hasn't been for us though. We just watched it recently, so we're. I
I,
feel
I'm,
like
I'm glad I took it in this way because I've watched so many different anime throughout these years that I feel like I had to watch other things to really appreciate this, and that's the other thing I think why people who don't watch anime who have seen it and they just like this, it
mhm,
actually makes sense to me because it's very like it's a one dimension, like there's not any other show like this,
right,
like
absolutely.
it's not.
So obviously we're going to talk about the first episode of the fourth season, the final season.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of history on this show. It was created at the beginning, I guess the beginning of the last decade. It was managed to change into an anime. The first season drops April 7th, 2013. The
Mm.
second season drops April 1st, 2017. So imagine a 4-year hiatus. I mean, you're a Hunter x Hunter fan, so I know you know about
Yeah,
a lot of hiatuses and
yeah,
stuff
big
like that.
time.
So imagine waiting a full 4 years to see what happens next, especially everything that happened after that first season. I mean,
Yeah, first season is a lot to get through. To be honest, I would probably say it's maybe the worst season. And when I say worst, I mean I don't think it's bad, but it's
mhm,
very long. One,
very long,
it's extremely long, and season two is short. I don't
super
think
short,
season two is the
12
greatest body
episodes.
of work either, but it's so much good. It's so much good information, and the exciting moments are big. Season three is where they hit. Like all you told me you warned me prior, and you're like,
Mhm.
hey, this is really the one, and you were right. I mean, Jamal kind of said the same thing. Like it's very like they just click season three, but one is long, two is short, three was brilliant. And but I'm not saying one or two is bad at all. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. So I'll say this: my first experience with learning about this show was my whole like, okay, I'm deciding to stray away from my Dragon Ball Z fandom and dive into other stuff. So I have a friend. His name is Jason. We play Pokemon Go quite frequently
Shout out
together, or at
Jason.
least, or at least we used to before COVID.
Right.
um, because he lives in the Bronx and I live in Brooklyn. And if you were not from New York, you know that is quite a long distance relationship. With that said, um, he was like, "Yo, have you seen Attack on Titan?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, what? You haven't seen Attack on Titan? And I was like, no. I'm like, I didn't know if it was an age thing because he's like 20 and I'm like close to 30 at that point. So I didn't know if it was an age thing. I was like, what is this, Teen Titans? Oh, of course. You can, the regular construction outside my window
Yeah,
at the
we
time
need
we
that.
record.
We need that.
But with that said, yeah, I didn't know if it was like Teen Titans or something along those lines or something spin off of that. So I was just like, because that's the only thing I've ever heard with Titans in it. So I was like, no, I've never heard it. Nah, not sure. I'm not sure what got me to turn this on. I want to say maybe it was the 4th season trailer that came out sometime over the summer.
You think so?
Because that trailer is epic. And actually, I advise you. I'm not sure if you've seen the trailer.
I don't think I've seen the trailer for season 4. I mean, I watched the first episode, and you know, I like the intros and the outros to that. But I think it was just more like I just needed to add it to my, you know, I need to add it to my trophy cabinet. Like there was just the one anime that's clearly maybe the most popular one in all, you know, just to be honest. And I just haven't really sat down and dived into it. I feel like it was just something that it was missing from my catalog, and I really there was no way for me to get around it. Like I just had to do it, and I told Meelz, I was like, damn man, season 4 kind of snuck up quick. Actually, all these things that are coming out in January, February, it snuck up fucking quick. And this was one of these, and I was like, I finished the whole series in what, a week and a half,
right?
You know, just to catch up, 2 weeks just to catch up, and yeah, so I definitely feel you.
It is the ultimate binge show, though. Like, it really is.
It's a great binge show. It's great. I didn't watch it dubbed, by the way.
Oh, you didn't? Wow.
I did not. I didn't like the dub. I think I watched.
Wow.
I watched the whole thing on. I watched the whole thing on Crunchyroll. Whole thing on Crunchyroll. Okay. And I was on subs the whole entire time. So
that is insane. I watched the entire thing on Hulu on dubs the entire fucking time.
I respect it. You know.
I mean,
Eric told me something similar. He was like, "Man, I cannot read." He's like, "My OCD. I cannot read. Sit down." He's like, "My ADD. I can't sit down and read this. Like, it's so much." And I was like, "No, I get it. You know."
No, there's a lot of information.
Anything, you know?
There's a lot of information to pick up, and I think that's where the reason why probably I did the dub was also because I've also dived into the manga a little bit. And I've also dove into the very, very, very complicated, very extraordinary, very layered, it's like a web of, you get lost in there if you're looking for one thing. The Attack on Titan fandom page, or Wikia page, or whatever it is. Right. You look for one thing there, and you're trying to, I've sat there at night for maybe like 2 hours after a set of episodes, and I advise no one to look it up. I think there's a manga. Yeah, I think there's a manga one and an anime one, so you might be safe and like away from spoilers. But
yeah, I'm not familiar with the manga at all. So
it is just, so the manga is like, it's funny because the manga, I consider it's like one of the most crudely drawn manga ever. I don't know who draws this shit, but
shit, the anime is completely opposite. That shit is clean. They don't miss.
Yeah. Well, you know, I like it because you look at this first episode of the 4th season, it's such kind of like it's a little bit of evolution from the first season, which had those like heavy outlines things like that. Now they've kind of I don't want to say they didn't have CGI before, because the first time you see the Colossal Titan, there's no way to draw him in. You just kind of have to impose him into the frame.
Right.
Because he is so, I mean, colossal is the correct word for it.
Yeah, absolutely. They 3D his ass up. These video games.
Listen, the steam and everything, of course.
Steam is hard. They do a really good job distinguishing. One of the reasons that took me so long with this shit, man, is I kind of just, everything I saw for it, I just thought it was weird. Like, and because
we're used to a different type of anime. We're used to the protagonist kind of being this like, I don't want to say otherworldly, but kind of like boyish dream. You know, the shonen, shit.
Easy to hit your eyes on and just sit on it and be like, okay, you know, this is nice looking. I don't have to squint looking at this. Like, it doesn't seem gritty or weird. But
they've got colors, they've got hope, they've got hair, they've got a bunch of different things that attract you to them.
You see a naked giant with no genitals and a big ass running around And
I,
yeah, you can't blame me for being like, I don't know if I want to watch this.
I didn't see any. So the thing is like I definitely saw the trailer and then, but it still didn't hit me like what the hell is going on here until I actually saw the first episode of of the first season of the show where
Mhm.
Aaron Yeager's mom gets completely just chewed
But
on.
I watched the first episode on Toonami,
Really?
and I just
You wasn't
I mean
moved? You were just like,
I
oh,
just
this is some
wasn't
normal
moved.
shit.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy
Yeah,
and
somebody gotta
whatnot.
die.
But to be fair though, streaming wasn't what it was quite yet at that moment when I first did see it. So maybe it was a resource thing, you know.
Mm. Before we dive into the season 4, I guess, of it all, and maybe, you know what, I mean, I think we'll gradually get there. Let's do something, because normally, I'll say this and sort of be candid about this as we're doing the episode. Normally there's a lot of uh research that goes into these episodes, believe it or not. A lot of research, a lot of
Yeah,
watching, a lot of note taking, a lot of other stuff
sure.
that we do when we go into the episode. This is not one of those episodes. We're just kind of talking freely and openly about this
Yeah,
show for
it's
the
super
first
fresh.
time.
So yeah,
And I'm sure, considering the format of the Lookout that we have now, we will go back and touch on these episodes eventually one day. But
maybe yeah,
um I
we'll love
want to
that.
know, we can scroll through the first 1, 2, 3 seasons. What
Hmm.
were your most like wow moments? What was the moment that this anime became real for you? How about that?
Um, Damn man, I was waiting for first. I'll say this: I was waiting for a character like Levi. That was
Mm.
one on like I needed that. I needed that. I think he's definitely my type of
I I told you by the time you were gonna hit that part with the Beast Titan, I was like, I know you're. I'm telling you, this is gonna be the character that you fuck with, and lo and behold, here we are.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like that was definitely, you know me. Like I said, I need a character uh, who has
Less
that
talk,
type of
more
appeal.
action.
Absolutely. But when I realized it was serious, the Annie stuff honestly
Mm,
was really that was it for me. Like
mm,
because you're watching these characters. I'm not sure where they're headed with it. I don't know how people what their dialogue means. They do drop a lot of dialogue hints within seasons that you won't even see come back up for 6, 7 episodes, and then you're like,
right.
oh shit, this makes sense. But Annie being a Titan really just, I mean, it blew my mind because I wasn't thinking about it. Like I did have
It didn't set you off. It was like, oh, that that Titan has
no,
a weird nose.
I just right, I know, right, but I didn't really put two and two together. Obviously, whenever they kind of we know that at some point there's basically humans, like
Yeah.
taking over some of these things. I do start to think, oh, maybe it's, but I just really wasn't thinking about Annie, and the shit just blew my mind. I absolutely love Historia's line. Like I love her Historia's storyline. I think it's brilliant. Like I think it's like real HBO shit. Like it's like
Yeah.
one of those deep ass shows that just has this crazy
Yeah.
timeline.
No, I
But
agree.
the Annie Titan shit was really, that was it for me, man. Like when they kind of confront her about it and like, oh, dog, that shit is so
Yo, come down
crazy,
here.
dog.
Come on. Don't
Yeah, they
you?
try to get her to go in the tunnel. She's like, I'm not going down there.
I don't know. She first of all, she packs her ring. She's like, let me get my ring on just in
Yep,
case
yep,
niggas want to
yep.
act up.
Oh, that shit was so good, man. And
There is a Titan here just in case people want to act up. But
yeah, just
you,
know.
you just and then that super intense moment. So I 100% agree with you, by the way. And I think I was watching through the first season, and all I could think was like, damn, man, people die like
Oh man, like so
all the
many
time.
casualties. So many casualties every fucking episode.
Like there are about a couple Titan attacks. There's of course the Titan attack from the first. I think there's another Titan attack later on. Then they have to seal up the wall, Mario, or whatever the hell it
Mm.
is. At this point, I don't have all the research yet, so don't quote me on these names of these walls
We're
yet.
we're yeah,
Because
we're new to this technically.
when we get to the season stuff, I'll know all this shit. I'll have it memorized, written down, all other stuff. So when they have to actually close up the walls, there are a ton of attacks that they have
Mm.
on there. But you don't, and I think all I could think of was, why am I even getting used to these characters? They're gonna die. Like it don't make no sense. Like
Yeah,
I like some of these people and then they die. I like some of these people and then they get
I've
like
learned. I've
eaten in
learned my
half.
lesson.
Yeah, so
I've
I've just
learned my
stopped.
fucking lesson, bro. Where they're running through the forest.
Yes.
Oh my god,
That
like
whole squad,
that whole
the elite
squad,
of
Mills.
the elite
Mills, I got
surveying
so
squad.
attached to them. Like they had, and the show likes to give you a pretty good like personality, exam on those people. Like you learn about them a little bit. You're like, oh, they get their jokes in. You
Right.
realize how close they are and their loyalty to Levi. They understand the situation. They have respect for one another. And then she's thrown up against a tree. Like she was like I was like, oh my god, man, this is awful. I was not expecting this.
Right. Absolutely. And
I
I
felt
think
like Levi. Like I didn't really know how to like express how much it sucked. But you could tell in his face, he's just like, oh,
it
yeah, I gotta
was,
bury some more people.
I think in the first season, just they did a lot of character development. Obviously, they talked a lot about these characters and get you used to them, whether they died or not, or whatever it is. From the first
It's a
part
mind fuck for sure.
where Aaron is training with Annie, and then even down to the forest where he's just like, "Yo, oh shit, she's using the same dance moves as this guy.
Yeah, yeah. Something
Let me,
right.
snap nair, headlock takeover, and drop down toe hold on her."
Yeah.
It was great. I agree with you. That became real for me. Another moment where it became real was probably the Bertold and Reiner
Oh man,
reveal,
holy shit, dude,
where
blew
they were
my
just on the,
fucking mind,
where, because I didn't.
bro.
It's not. The
I
thing is
I
like,
wasn't thinking about it. I was not thinking about it. There's no way. There's no way. There's not a lot of people I think who could watch this, and before this part happens, they get it.
yeah,
Like I feel like it was just done so beautifully that there's no way your mind is set on that until it happens, which is shocking.
they build up this intrigue and this like intense kind of mood building up to it, where it's like they're talking to and they discover, I think they discover obviously that there's moles in their camp and there's more titans with it, because there's no way that these, they're like, yo, how come this colossal titan and armor titan just keep showing up all the time? Like they be
Yeah.
showing
They got
shit.
to be close. Yeah.
It's gotta be someone in our troop, because they knew where we at in the forest, they knew all the other stuff, they came through, etc., etc. It's got to be one of us. It's got to be. So I think they, you know, I don't know if it was like, he got the same hair as the tech. He got the same hair as the armor titan. I don't know. You maybe want to check on him. But when they discover it, it's that moment, and Melissa Ackerman shows up and she tries to immediately like slice niggas' heads off, and it's just, I love that moment. What's the other moment I like? I love. I mean, when you talk about fights, you got to talk about, I mean, there's a couple fights. There's obviously Aaron as the Tech Titan versus the Armor Titan, Reiner, when they have that actual like
Right
like
now.
4-star match.
Yeah.
And then there's Levi versus the Beast Titan.
Oh man, bro, he sliced that nigga's arm up. I was losing my mind. But the worst thing about it is like they never just kill them immediately. Like
No.
they always want information. They always want to capture first. And I'm like, fuck, man, kill this dude, bro.
Because I feel like they believe they need to understand where this is all coming from. They have no idea what's going on because apparently all their memories have been erased, et cetera, et cetera.
Which is why season 4, episode 1 was a fucking like it was a slow burner, but like, man, you really see how deep it's about to get. Like
absolutely. I would say, before I get into that though, this was before they kicked open the door and find out all the secrets and all the other stuff and the history and all this other stuff. So
of course, the basement.
Right. So they want answers, so that they don't immediately kill everybody except
I get it.
What's his man who got killed, Steam guy. And that was another major moment too, when Berthold died and then they had to choose between Armin and what's his face?
I was on edge. I was split myself. Shit.
He was like, but Armin's kind of ass. And there was like, no, but he did. And it's like, how you going, the commander of the damn thing?
Levi should have took it himself. Man. This man Armin was toast.
Crisp, man. I was
Like
like, whoa. I was like, how
there,
did
he
he
was like,
live?
he's breathing. I was like, what?
How?
He just looked so sorry, just laying there.
My man had no hair, no eyebrows, no skin, no nothing. Just
Teeth, yeah, lips was burnt off. It
looking
was
like
ugly.
jerky. Ugh. Like it's so fucking funny. But no, I mean, there's so many moments in this, and I think it gradually grows as the season goes on, which is good. You don't want it to ever be like the first season bust everybody's ass. But the way it goes, you want to draw people in, and I think the end of season 1 was a good thing to draw people in. I think the reveals in season 2 continue to add to the intrigue. Season 3 was kind of like this climax of like drawing everybody in.
Mm-hmm.
All the reveals, everything is kind of out on the table, but then there's a major discovery at the end, and that's so wild. The fact that we're still discovering things third season in, it's like the My Hero
That's
thing, but
yeah, that's what I was gonna say about getting to season 4. It's strange to me that it's not strange to me that it's the last season, but it's just crazy that it's really heating up just now,
right.
and we're on the
And
last season.
because I think because now everybody is aware of not only what's going on, but kind of how the Titans work. You've gone through 3 seasons of them not only figuring out how that people can turn into Titans, but how people are turned into Titans. Who can
Right.
be turned into a Titan? What Titan powers have? Who was the first Titan? All this other stuff. It becomes like they're actually themselves forming the Wikia or the fandom page as we go through this entire thing. And the last bit of season 3 to me is some of the most powerful shit, especially when they go back in time. And it's a little confusing with like who. Oh, it's this person's son, but then this person's dad, but then this thing,
Yeah,
and
it's a
now
lot of dialogue. It's a slow burner. Like you got to really sit down and prepare to like watch and
it's like, well,
read,
he was,
listen.
he was a rebel, but then his son snitched on him, which was
Mhm.
crazy. I was like, damn,
Yeah,
be your own
yeah.
children. I would
Your
have popped
own,
him
be
off
your
the
own kids, man. Fuck them kids.
but then you figure out that in terms of just the whole, and this is where season 4 kind of comes in, because I think a lot of it has to do with the whole Marley and Eldian and Paradis.
Parody.
Paradis.
Paradis.
I want to see the island.
Yeah, Paradis. It's like paradise, but it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
So we learn all about that building up to it. And how these things and how the power of the Titan is passed on, and et cetera, like that. The last thing of the season, the last moments of season 3 was so powerful. And it may
was.
be because it may be even more powerful just because I've now read what happens in season 4. And I'm telling you, season 4 is, you're gonna love. I promise you already love it now, but you're going to love season 4. I promise
I
you,
could
because
tell. I could tell.
the way it's a time skip that happens from the last episode. It's a time
Right.
skip. It's been years. There haven't been any Titans seen on the island, but it's crazy because there haven't been any Titan appearances on the island, and then you get into season 4 and you figure out why. It's because they've been having this war with this country.
Yes, bro.
Moving. So
I can't believe that there's just this whole other. They're literally introducing a whole other set of protagonists.
Yeah. So
Just on another spectrum.
The last moments of season 3, they finally reach the water. It's what they've been talking about since episode 1, season 1, and they finally reach the water. And Aaron, who's been through it all, he's been through the ringer. He's
14, 15.
learned.
At this point, maybe he's a little older, but his
He
hair is
might be a
longer.
little
I
bit older.
noticed.
Yeah.
So maybe 16.
He looks out because of so much that he's absorbed, because of so much how he's been used, because of so much of what he's learned, because so much of everything like that. It's like a lot of information is now. People say ignorance is bliss, and I think if he were Armin or Mikasa in this sort of situation where he doesn't have any of the thoughts of the Titans, he doesn't have any of the memories, he's not the founder, he's not anything.
Right.
They're like, we finally reach it. This is what we've been hoping for. But he's looking at it as like, there are people out there that don't fuck with us.
Yeah.
And who want to kill us. And the only way to truly be free, yeah, we reach the water. Yeah, if we go past the water, it'd be great if we could be free. But Eldians are not looked at in the world as free people.
Yeah.
We're looked at as monsters. We're looked at because we have the power of the Titans. We're looked at as mutants and stuff. So maybe freedom doesn't come until everything across there. Well, until pretty much the world gets hit. And
yeah. Like, he's basically like, we're gonna have to kill some people in order to have our freedom.
Yeah, and he's that becomes for season 4. That becomes the entire motivation for everything that Eren does. And without giving away too much, but that last moment of Eren that you see in season 3, that is the lasting moment that will carry on throughout the season 4. And it's wild because it's almost like he becomes the antagonist, which is brilliant. And you'll see why. It's very radical. It's very awesome. It's very extreme. But let's get into season 4, episode 1, and we get into this entire war that's going on between the Mideast, I don't know, Mideast something. I don't want to say Middle East because it's definitely not Middle East, but it's Mideast. It's not. I don't want to offend nobody. You know what I'm saying?
But right. Yeah, for sure.
So the Mideast Allied forces at the Battle of Fort Slava. I'm legitimately just looking at the Wiki article right now.
Sounds Russian.
All right, so we're introduced to a whole bunch of new characters, which is great. This is how it's supposed to happen. It's 4 years after the last moments of season 3. It's 4 years after that.
4 years. That means Eren and them, they're legal, just about.
They should be. Also, they're approaching the end of their kind of like
20
Titan sort of thing, which is why there's so much of they obviously the Marley, the Marleyan force, they've held the power of the Titans. They have the power of the Titans. They have 7 Titans on their squad, which is the most that anyone has. And as long as they have that, they believe that they're in true power and they believe they have the true advantage. But as people discover about the Titans, I mean, we saw it through the first 3 seasons. We see the Mideast Allied forces, they're already used to Titans because they've already developed machinery that's blown them.
Bro. Yeah, bro. When they introduced those cannons, I was like, oh, that's just definitely.
Rhino was having a hard time, man.
He was, bro. Straight up.
My man was ducking, bobbing, weaving, rolling.
I was like, damn.
He had to grab a tank to shield him from the tank.
Yeah.
So they introduced all these new kids. It's like the Teen Titans.
And they're important because they're drawn really well.
Yeah.
That's how you really know. You're like, oh, yeah. Look at the eyes.
They're trying to determine who's going to be the next in line to be the Armored Titan, to be the Beast Titan, to be all the, the Titans that they injected a number of years ago, and their time is about to run up. And they want to continue this because they need to continue to consolidate power. However, they will not be able to have true power until they, get the power of the founding Titan. And it becomes abundantly clear during this war that, don't get me wrong, they win. They absolutely win.
They do.
But they get fucked up in the middle of this. I mean, all right, so I'll say this. One of my favorite scenes, before we talk about getting fucked up, one of my favorite scenes, one of the wildest scenes, actually, when you think of it.
Did you like the nightgown joint with the grenades? That shit was fire.
Cool. She was cool
as fuck. Yeah.
I think they established her and her character.
There's a reason.
Everything beautifully. And there's 100% a reason why she will be a very prominent figure throughout season 4.
Good.
And I think her name is Gabby, and there's also
it's Gabby.
Falco. They both will be very, very prominent moving forward.
Falco look like he gonna go baby face, man.
He might. He might.
He gonna go baby face, man. I can tell.
They're the Eldian forces fighting on behalf of the Marleyans because, Eldians in tournament camp, et cetera, you're Titans. You can't really, we control you, et cetera. But so they get to that point. one of the craziest parts was when they, I think it was a blimp or some sort of flying device, where they start dropping Titans from the air.
Dog, I ain't never seen no shit. Could you imagine if that happens like season 1 or 2 or anything like that? Like, bro, I ain't never seen no shit like that. All you see is the transformations just blink.
Obviously, all these Eldians are sedated or something along those lines. They don't even look like.
Yeah, they look high.
Yeah,
like they already look like Titans, like, but they're not
yet.
They
off a bean, they off a Zan, they off something. And they're just being dropped out of the thing, and with parachutes. And then, of course, what's his face? What's my man's name? Shit. The Beast Titan. I forgot his name. Zeke.
Zeke. Young Zeke.
Zeke does the yell.
Very biblical.
Yeah, very, very, very. Zeke does the yell. They all turn to Titans. Half of them just die on the impact of hitting the ground. And then I guess the other half just get blown up and blown to bits. They are 100% expendable. It's wild that they're being used as like in exchange for like dropping bombs on people. Like they're dropping Titans on people. That's how little they care about these people. And you kind of see the kids look at it, and you see one of the adults, I forgot his name. But he looks at them, and I think they all kind of realize like, yo, they just, yeah, we get that we're in war.
They really just did that shit. That was fucked up.
Excessive a little bit. And then they're like, oh, Reiner, you're going to be the shield. Zeke is going to be the spear. And we'll go in and we're going to fuck some shit up. And of course, they go in. These Medes forces, they ain't came to play. They have all types of Titan technology, man. Mm-hmm. And it ain't just thunder spears, man. They're like thunder missiles.
Yeah, they're huge. But dog, that scene, the Beast Titan picking them up and just like, I mean, we've seen them do this already with rocks in season 3, but this shit was next level, bro. This was next level.
Threw it at the fleet that was approaching the island. I guess they were back up in a sense, but they threw it at the fleet that were approaching the island. Luckily, the fleet managed to get off a couple bullets beforehand.
Didn't Reiner jump in front of a few?
Yeah, absolutely jumped in front of me. He took every damn bullet.
Yeah, I was like, damn, hope it don't hit your fucking neighbor.
Yeah, man, it's just like, oh, I was like, yo, why to be real, Armor Titan be getting fucked up in this show.
Yeah, he gets his ass beat a lot, but it's tight though. It's a dope ass Titan. Like,
yeah, but I was like, yo, Annie whooped some ass before you whooped some ass. I don't know what this hell. I don't know.
Any more finesse? You feel me?
Absolutely, she got skill. She got the skill.
Yeah.
You know, but just that scene, and they managed to defeat. They win Fort Slava. It's been 4 years. It's the reason why they haven't returned to parity, because they are being threatened by the rest of the world, who are like, yo, we got to get these Titans the fuck out of here, because
dangerous.
You're just not gonna be a superpower with all these Titans. Nobody else got a Titan. Don't let me get a Titan, because then. For real. But there's only 9 of them.
And they have 7, right? So
right. Paradis has 2. They have 7. They're in the clear advantage, but they don't have the true advantage. They don't have the ultimate advantage until they get the founding Titan. There's nothing that they can do until they get the founding Titan. And founding Titan has the ability to make people in control and all this other stuff. Founding Titan shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's the end of episode 1, pretty much, of season 4.
Yeah.
But you have the idea that this is going to be epic. The fact that they're introducing new characters to the show is very new. It's cool.
Not showing any past characters from the previous season. Everybody knew for the most part, besides Reiner and Zeke. Like, that tells you exactly the level that we're on. Obviously, I'm curious to when we're going to, see Eren and them at this point, but it's good build up. Now we just gotta wait week to week. Can't just binge this thing.
Well, there's a definite rumor that the season is going to be split into, similar to the 3rd season. Yeah, I know.
So how many episodes are we talking about? 24, 25?
We're
They going
talking.
deep.
We're probably. I think it might be the. Actually, I don't know.
I could see it going
All
deep.
all I
Splitting it
heard
12 or
is
whatever.
first couple episodes because the manga isn't finished yet. It's just not.
Right, right.
Um. So, but it's close to done. It'll probably be done by the time before this season ends. Before this half of the season ends, the manga should be done.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say 12, and then apparently in June or July or sometime during the summer, another 12 is supposed to start,
Okay.
and it's supposed to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
ending by the end of next year.
Well,
So
we'll probably get a movie.
their
We'll get a
movies have
movie.
been just recapping the show, which fair because it's a
It's a
lot of
lot.
information. It's a lot, like a lot of information to take in, and that's how you need to do the movies. That's how I watch a recap for the show. I mean, I've been watching the way I caught up on this show was kind of just really watching the recaps on YouTube because they're a motherfucker will just recap the entire show, recap whole
God
third
bless their soul
three
too,
season,
because they really go
55
hard on that
minutes.
shit.
Make
Yeah.
it make sense is what they do. And then I
Mm-hmm.
watched the 2-hour movie they put on the Funimation thing, which is like no filler, no fluff, no development. You're watching this knowing you know everything that goes on. You've seen this before. I'm just getting you
Yeah.
through this
You just want to
quicker.
catch up. Yeah, yeah,
I'm just jogging your memory. Like that's it.
yeah.
It's like, oh
Well,
yeah, oh Historia. Oh wow, that's
I've been
crazy.
watching
Yo.
it for 2 weeks on a sub on Crunchyroll, and
It
it
is
was a lot.
really
It was in
like,
my dreams. It was in my dreams, but
bruh, I would watch it before bed. I would be like,
yeah,
should I do one more episode? Oh fuck it, let's do one more episode.
yeah, yeah, it's
I would
tough,
be
man. I mean,
like,
you skip the intro and outro. We're looking at like 19 minutes. It can be done.
yeah. I'd be like, I don't know what they talk about in this part, but fuck it. We're gonna continue watching.
Yeah, for real.
It's
So,
good.
it's a
It's a
good
good
show,
show.
man. It really is. I slept, but honestly, I'm glad that I did, because this won't be the only time I start it over and watch it again. I'll probably end up watching it again, sometime next year.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's obviously a classic. I see it. Like I said, it was definitely one of those things I needed to watch a few more anime to really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I think Attack on Titan, the biggest anime release of 2020. Even though it came out December 6th or 7th, depending on where you're at. It is the biggest. It had the power to break Crunchyroll, break Funimation,
Yeah,
break everything that it is. And as much as we love Jujutsu Kaisen, which we do, and I need to
yeah.
watch the season, but it just has everything packed up into it. It has at
Of
least 7
course.
years of fandom and
Yeah, it's
people
different. It's definitely
who
different.
live for this show packed into it. And I do think it will go down as one of the greatest animes of all time when it's finished.
I believe so.
But that's all we got. That's all we got for this episode. We just covering kind of like our thoughts on Attack on Titan, our thoughts on the first episode. If you like this, maybe we'll do some more. But we're just covering. We're discovering this all at once. We're figuring this out all at once. The fandom page is booming. If you want to learn every possible thing about Titans and confuse yourself even more, it's there. I've done it.
It's all
just me.
there. It's all there.
And you can, I guess you can, listen back to this. You can listen to our earlier episode in the week with Resurrection F that we talked about it with the Big Eyes podcast. You can
Visa.
listen to yesterday's episode of Showdown, which we talked about
Vicious and Spike.
yes,
Cowboy
there
Bebop.
we go. I was trying to remember the anime name, Cowboy Bebop. So you can listen to that. We just got content out the wazoo. Next week, follow the account. We're gonna have a special announcement sometime before next week. But we're gonna have a special announcement. It's as drama would say, holiday season.
Holiday season. It's dramatic.
It is holiday season, so you know what that means. It's a chance to win some cool shit.
Right.
But until then, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys. We look forward to, if you have any thoughts on this episode, share your thoughts, share your tweets with us. You can at me at Meelz CV. You can at Jeff at Old Newsboy. You can at the account at the Lookout RNC on Twitter. You can subscribe to the Lookout. Maybe I'll put this up on YouTube as well. You can subscribe to the account obviously the Lookout on RNC Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play,
You on
Amazon
Amazon
Podcast.
yet? Let's go.
We're on Amazon. Of course. iHeart, YouTube, everywhere where you can catch it.
Everywhere.
Be there. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.
Yep.